The following video is sponsored by yours truly. That's right, your old pal finally has both a Patreon and Subscribe star. For those of you who sign up, you will get such fancy toys as the full uncompressed speed paint of this video and all the videos I make from now on. And of course, don't forget that this Friday is the exclusive monthly paid video of the Boondocks and moral hypocrisy, where I get to say naughty words in that video. And was censoring myself and having to cut the video every time I say a cuss word and say like, I gotta re-record that section. None of that. So click down below at the introduction video to learn more about these pay sites. And without further ado, let's get on with it. What's good, people? Agent Jules reporting for duty. Regardless of what you think about the Shera reboot, it clearly has its audience. It clearly has its cult following. And I believe there is something to learn from that cult following, particularly because it has such a draw with the characters, namely, of course, Shera herself and Catra. In this exploratory video, I am going to be drawing my own OC Velicia, Supreme Dark Sorceress, from my cartoon Schneeevil, link down below for the animatic that I made for it if you want to watch it. And I'm going to be drawing her cosplaying, of course, Catra from Shera and the Princesses of Power, and I'm going to dissect what I have learned from Catra specifically and what I want to do to use that in my own projects, particularly Schneeevil, and of course particularly my OC and the main character of the cartoon, Velicia. So without further ado, let us go ahead and lock ourselves into a cosplay closet and play dress up, as Velicia is doing right now. Let us put on all kinds of different clothing and smash that like button while we're at it, and let's get on with this nonsense. So first things first, let's of course talk about the speed paint, and this is a particularly important speed paint because I'm going to be experimenting with a new series. This speed paint is of my OC, Donut Steel, Velicia, Supreme Dark Sorceress, from the cartoon that I want to make called Schneeevil. In this case, she is cosplaying the ever so infamous Catra from Shera and the Princesses of Power. I wanted to do this because, first of all, I am doing that nefarious evil trick that I told you about in my video, link down below, of what makes a successful cartoon, where I drew SpongeBob with Velicia, because I was trying to do an evil trick where I'm trying to associate your monkey brain to think about popular cartoons and my cartoons to make you, by proxy think that my cartoons are also popular and cool. I'm so evil and devious. But also because I want to start gleaning from a bunch of different cartoons that I have watched and I've seen and I have kind of learned from, and see what can be applied specifically to Velicia and Schneeevil. So Shera and the Princesses of Power. It's a thing. It's quite a thing. I have discussed it twice before on this channel. The first time I discussed Shera was when I was doing those parody Drawing with Boris videos where I drew Catra in this particular case. That video was one of my most popular videos on this channel, funnily enough. The second time, of course, I talked about Shera and the Princesses of Power is when the series finally wrapped, and I decided to give kind of a retrospective thought on it. You can watch both those videos in the links down below. Look at me, gaming up the algorithm here. I think it can be easily said that I do like Shera and the Princesses of Power, but I think I've come to the conclusion that I like it because I like Catra. After all, I have drawn her twice on this channel. Of course, one of those times was her getting beamed in the face by Frosta, but, I still drew Catra. I like Catra because of my thing I always say about the most interesting character on screen. My thing is that I believe that the most interesting character on screen at any given time is the one going through the most turmoil, and therefore, the most interesting character is most likely going to be the one I like the most because it's going to be the one I want to pay attention to the most. And that is, hands down, Catra. Catra is a hot mess. I mean, good Lord. She's jealous, she's vindictive, she's toxic, she's clearly needy, she's very insecure. She is a basket case, and I love it. Now, obviously, a real-world person who has this many issues needs boatloads of therapy and probably needs to be locked up for the rest of her lives and tried as a war criminal because, of the things Catra did in that series. I mean, good Lord. But that's neither here nor there. Story-wise, Catra is just absolutely compelling. I cannot take my eyes off her. In the video where I was doing the Shera retrospective, one of the things I said is that if I were to kind of rewrite history, and if I was like in charge of Shera, I wouldn't make Shera. I would want to make an original idea starring Catra and kind of make a story wrapped around her. And here I sit, drawing my OC dressed up like Catra, and it seems to me I have an opportunity to do something like that. For those of you who have not seen my animatic pilot proof of concept thingy for Schneeevil, first of all, shame on you. Click the link down below. Of course it's gonna be there. But for those of you who haven't seen it, the long and short of Schneeevil is about Velicia, who is a self-described supreme dark sorceress, and she wants to rule the world, right? She wants to take it over. But of course there's obstacles in her way. Her own minions don't seem to be that interested. And the shtick of the story is, how does someone like Velicia get what she wants? And the answer to that is a lot of hard work and a lot of failure. And in order to make a character like that interesting, I believe that the best way to do so is to make her a hot mess, much like Catra. Now, the challenge of making a character as I'm describing them, a hot mess, is that they can't be a character that you can't, maybe not sympathize with, but that one that you can't stand. Like, a character can't be so irredeemable that you don't want to watch them, because that would defeat the purpose of making a compelling character. Because if it forces you to turn off the TV or put your phone down, then the story has failed to engage you. I want to use the insane furball that is Catra and implant parts of her malfunctions into Velicia, only so far as to make Velicia more compelling to watch. One thing I try to do, particularly in the animatic pilot thingy that I made, is to make Velicia come across as someone who's kind of frazzled, who clearly wants something, but is very she doesn't take things very well in stride. And that's something that Catra does. Catra is not really good at handling emotional turmoil. And in a way that's kind of compelling. If you do it right, it can actually be quite sympathetic because you feel for the character. And I want to take aspects of that from Catra and put them into Velicia, because that is the story I want to tell. I want to tell a story about someone who is disturbed, but in an entertaining and funny way. And I want to tell a story of someone like that having to go through the trials and tribulations of trying to achieve their goal. In which case, for both Catra and Velicia, it's world domination. Now, I mean, if you want to dissect Catra further, it's so that she can feel loved and all that stuff. But it's very clear that she's trying to fill the empty hole in her soul with world domination, or just domination in general. And so I want to kind of mirror that with Velicia. You know, Velicia is meant to be like this spastic, crazy hot mess because that's entertaining. And of course, because I'm not trying to be as like, you know, emotionally serious as Shera and the Princesses of Power, you know, Schneeevil, my cartoon, is supposed to be much more lighthearted and funny. I feel like I can get away a little more with making a character who's just offered rocker without making it seem mean-spirited or kind of sad in a like an emotional way. But of course that remains to be seen, because I can talk all this big talk, but until I actually put everything in writing and put it forth for people to watch and people judge it for themselves, the verdict on that is still out. Funny thing is that there's a part of me, now that I've drawn this picture, that wonders whether or not Velicia should be a cat girl. There is an appeal for cat girls. Let's not lie to ourselves here. You know, as I mentioned in that other Shera video, like if I were to make something of it, I would make a cat girl story of Catra, and this very well may be my chance. And it's still early in Schneeevil and Velicia's design. I could totally make her a cat girl. I mean, nothing much would change. She would just have the ears and the tail. I mean, she already has the sharp claws and the sharp teeth. I wouldn't make her behave any differently. I mean, if I wanted to play up the cat girl thing, I might make her act like a cat, like hiss at things and jump on the table. And okay, you know what? Let me know in the comments down below what you think about if Velicia should be a cat girl or if I just leave her as a human-ish, because she still has, like I said, she has sharp teeth and sharp nails, so it's not like she's entirely what we consider human. Anyway, I digress. Point is that Shera, if there's one thing that the Shera reboot did right in my book, is they made Catra into a fascinating, gripping, hot mess of a compelling character. And that is something I want to emulate with Velicia, because I want Velicia to give off that same energy, and I want her to grip the audience the same way that Catra gripped me. So with all that said, I think go ahead and wrap it up for today. All right, people, you know what to do. If you like what you see and want to see more, go ahead and tickle them buttons. You know, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Share the video and comments down below. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts. And for the sharing aspect, if you're watching this on minds.com, it's as easy as hitting that remind button. And if you're on YouTube, well, you can copy the URL and share it out to the world to show all the cool kids that you watch cool stuff. Of course, if you also want to support this channel monetarily, go ahead and hit up either Patreon or Subscribestar. Pick whatever tier you want, because you'll all get the same stuff. And you'll get access not only to this uncompressed speed paint recording, but you'll also get access to this Friday's exclusive video of the Boondocks and moral... What did I call it? Hypocrisy. Moral hypocrisy. You'll get all that if you subscribe to either Patreon or Subscribestar. You'll get the same thing regardless of which site you use. And of course, regardless of which tier you use. And of course, if you wish to just stalk me on the free net, here are my links right here on the screen. Definitely pay attention, particularly to minds.com. I always push that one because it's the alternative site. And I want to see more diversity on the interbuts. Anyway, with all that said, I thank you for spending this time with me. I do hope you stick around. I do hope you enjoy me deviating from my normal pattern and drawing my OC. And until next time, adeuces.